Are we,
I think we're good on our end.
okay, sounds good. Let me go ahead. So yeah, I've been working with the product team on the, we're just calling it the fund change workflow. So wanted to walk through that with you all. I can show this within the platform as well. But here, right, what we're envisioning is within the revision for a project. So you can see we're in a plan revision, whether we identify it as, a formal amendment, an admin mod, whatever it may be. When there's a list of projects in a revision, you'll be able to see the funding changes. So if you click the funding changes here, what you'll see is a list of changes to projects within this revision. All the funding changes made to a project in that revision. So I see we made 3 funding changes to 8TE 212 and 8TE 342. We made 1 change for. But this would bring in every funding change made within a revision. It's also going to show, when that date was and who updated that fund. The next step is like, right, that's one part, is just seeing the funding changes within a revision, but we know we need to identify this for federal reviewers as well. So that's why we're looking at the MPO to DOT workflow with the optional. Right now it's FHWA approval, but if we needed to relabel this, we certainly could. But our funding changes here. When an MPO copies, oh yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Sean, just one quick thing. I was wondering, what if the fund type changes? Is that reflected somehow?
Yes, it should be, because let me back out real quick. We go here. Okay, I have some more revisions here. So what happens is our system knows when we change a row of data here. Also, if I hit edit and I said, just for demonstrations, I'm gonna change this to be HPP. The system is going to identify, even though I didn't change anything else with this fund here, I did update the fund type, so that would be what we would consider a fund change in the system. Even though we may not be updating the amount, since we're updating the fund type, that is a fund change to us.
Okay.
Would that be correct? Like, that's it. If somebody changed a fund type, that's something that you would want to be alerted to, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. We would have to approve that as well, and they do that pretty frequently.
Yeah. Yeah, so this would be calculated in that list of changes. Just if, if they added in a brand new row as well. So if I come here, and if I save these changes, now what we'll see when I scroll down, and so now when I updated that fund type, right, it's clearly highlighted here. I updated 2 fund amounts, and I added in brand new funding. All 4 of these would be reflected as changes to this particular project's funding. Oh, and they would be, right? So those 4 changes would be calculated in here, or shown in here for that one project. But to get here to where we're saying, right, updated by an updated date, during the process when the MPO sends projects to the DOT, the DOT has the ability to action on funding for a project. So we have, right, the previous amount, the updated amount, oops, or if there was a fund type change as well. And what you're able to do is action to say, I either want to approve or deny this change to the funding. And then there's an optional toggle. Right now they labeled it in the mockups as FHWA approval. If we wanted to put in federal approval, that's something we could do. So let me go. So this is where you would be able to review, right, the funding changes made to a project. Do we want to accept or deny this funding change? And then a second level saying, is this funding change something that, the feds need to approve, whether FHWA or FTA? And then also, if for some reason an action was denied, so this first funding road that we had up here was denied, there's going to be alert on that project page for the MPO, letting them know, right? It's gonna alert them to the user who denied the funding. So if they need to reach out to discuss why, but if we here we have the 760K updated fund amount. So if we go over here, this user would be able to see, right, Ron denied the 760K protect funding and preliminary design. That way the MPOs are kept up to date with right, the DOT and the approval or denial of individual funding changes. Any questions here?
No, I don't think so.
All right, and so then, yeah, once the fund is accepted, so we've accepted these 4 funds. Now the DOT or whoever's reviewing at the DOT would be able to toggle on or off, right, which funding is needing federal approval. So we're going to say, 3 of these 4 funding changes, they require federal approval. And so what that means is when a federal reviewer logs into the plan revisions worksheet, they can also see this funding changes here. But we're only showing, because we have an external reviewer role, we can identify folks who are federal reviewers. What they're going to be shown is only the funding changes that require their approval. They won't see the other funding changes. If they wanted to, they still would be able, right? Because external reviewers have read-only capacity. They could click in and see the full project, but within the revisions, within the formal amendment, when they click in here, when they look at the C funding changes, they're going to see the funding changes that we need federal approval on, and they'll be able to accept or deny that funding change.
Okay.
And then also, for any reason, just going back to this alert over here, Ron, if you were to accept the funding change and then the feds come in and they deny a change for any reason, I'm not sure if that's happened or happens, but what would happen is in that review over here, this alert, if this was coming from an MPO, they would be able to see that you did accept the 760K in protect funding, but FHWA, denied those funding changes for whatever reason. So they're still being alerted both at the state and federal approval level.
Yeah, that makes sense, Sean. One other question is, once Rexy and I approve something, it goes to the feds. Are we in DOT then locked out from editing it until the feds approve? That's currently the way our system works.
There was a... I think, sorry, I could send over Eric's video. He put a mock-up video together for me. But I believe in that video, what he did say is once somebody has accepted once you've accepted the state funding, yeah, you're kind of locked out from going back and saying, oh, actually, I want to deny it. We could make those changes in the systems, but we would have to go through a different workflow if for some reason we needed to go back and say, oh, actually deny this. Once you accept it, once we toggle it for the feds, we need to wait for the feds to action on it.
Okay, thank you.
And then, of course, right, with the FHWA funds that we have down here, once the feds have accepted it, there's no further action required on the individual funding changes to the projects. And then, of course, yeah, we'll go through the same steps once all the funding changes have been accepted to go ahead and make sure both, right, the project and the plan revision are accepted. I think this will help, right? I'm going to hop over here. Let me go to a plan. Oh, and I went to an admin mod. So I think when we're in an amendment, right, there's going to be that see funding changes here where the feds can click in. They can see the individual funding lines that they're going to be accepting, so they could accept those here. And then should be right around that same, in that same kind of action. And when we do federal training, we can show them this. They would go here, they get that pop-up box. Okay, I accept these individual funding changes. And then they could just put their approval date in the FHWA or FTA box. I know I went through that a little bit quickly, not trying to rush through it, but was there any questions around this? We try to align as closely as we could with the E-step process while working within, our system.
I don't think I have any questions, Sean. It looks good to me.
Yeah, I'm good too. Thank you.
Got it. And Ron, look good to you, because we just want to make sure. I want to make sure we're fully aligned here, because we will. Obviously, we just did the mock-ups, kind of put the workflow together, so we wanted to make sure we were aligned with you all, had the buy-in from NYSDOT to move forward with this development, and we'll get all the development pieces kind of sized out, put in a schedule, so then that way we can come back and let you know when this is going to be available on Project Tracker. I will be a bit forward where I don't think this is going to be ready by November. We're in October now. There's a lot of moving pieces we'll develop here. I'll work to get that expected functionality availability date, but yeah, just really wanted to confirm we have alignment on this process.
Yeah, that looks good to me, Sean.
And the other thing is too, of course, as the team starts developing this, we can review the development as it's coming along. Of course, until it's all done, we won't be able to complete the full workflow, but we could check in on development as it's released and just test it together in the software.
Okay.
Sean, I do have one question. On this screenshot, if you go to the right where it says type, in the project section, yep. What's the difference? Well, what do those two items underneath it mean?
Oh, yes. Well, it's just saying the project type here. So our platform just has standard fields that show by default in different areas. So when I'm in right in here, I'm going to plan revisions because I'm looking at a ballot or a revision I'm putting together. And so when I click into my amendments here, number one, it's going to show me what kind of amendment this is, which approval dates we're needing to capture. And then when I come down to the project section, it's just going to give me a high-level overview of the projects that are in this particular amendment. So I see my 3 projects, title, change reason, the details for the change, and then what type of project is this, along with the total cost.
Okay.
And I will actually, I know Ron posed a question to type, so I had a little bit that I'll speak to in a second that may, it'll explain the type field just a bit more, Rexy.
Okay, sounds good.
So with the workflow, before I move on, and I'm happy to send this mock-up over to you as well, or this presentation. I'll send the recording as well if you want to play that back. But before we move on, any other questions, thoughts?
No.
Sean, I just want to make sure that that funding changes, so it'll show anytime an amount or a funding type is changed, correct? But it won't show, like, if a project or a phase of a project got changed to a different year. That's not going to show under these funding changes, right? This is specific to funding.
I think in our system it would want to alert you. If I go back to that project I was, let me go back into a project here. The way it, and I need to, do I have a revision history? Yes. Because when we're changing funding, so I'm in version 3 here of this project. There's 2 other versions. So when I start editing data on version 3, the project is comparing itself to version 2, and it's saying what's different when what's different between this new version compared to version 2. So if I come down to fiscal year here and I actually said, well, this needs to be 26, you'll see just from a UI perspective, it's going to say, hey, we're updating this funding year. We're moving it out to 2026. In our backend, that constitutes like a funding change. Is that something that should not be alerted to in the system?
No, that's actually good. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you.
Yeah, and you'll see, because if I save this change to, I was just talking about David because I think he had a little, if I scroll down to the project changes, oh, it's still saving. Sorry, it's saving a little bit slow. I know they're doing some performance enhancements this week on the testing environment.
Got it. Okay. No, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll look at it just a second. It should, sorry, it's sometimes they're when I have a meeting and they're refreshing testing, it can slow some things down. Or maybe it's my internet. We finally got rain out here for like the first time in 5 months. So
Wow.
yeah, we got half an inch of rain yesterday. It was absolutely insane. Oh, it's not. It still didn't save them. I will try to save this real quick. We'll come back to this in a second. Apologies for this. I know, yeah, they're making some enhancements to the performance on testing this week. While we wait for that to process, just wanted to confirm one thing. We're working on the construction obligated reports, but as we're doing this work, we just felt it was maybe correct time to store even more of the FEMAS data. We pull a lot of that data in and we display it, but now we're taking the time to truly store and enhance our FEMAS data reporting. So we know there's the pins that 7th digit, it ends in 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 is for construction. I think we had another one of the phases, but the product and engineering team came back and they said, well, NYSDOT doesn't have like a row or engineering phase, and that's what FEMAS has. But I would assume row equals row incidental and row acquisition.
Yeah,
Would
that's
that be
correct.
Right.
And then for engineering phase, sorry, because we have scoping, preliminary, detailed, row incidental, acquisition, inspection, construction, and miscellaneous. Which one of these relates to the engineering phase?
So those would be, there are actually 3 of them. It's scoping, preliminary design, and detailed design. So it's scoping, preliminary design, and detailed design.
Got it. I had two of the three. I said I think it's going to be preliminary and detailed. I'll confirm with the team today. I wasn't tracking scoping. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we just wanted to clarify that as we, like I said, our main priority is the construction amended and unamended obligation report, but we wanted to capture these for you all as well. Okay, because that's what happened. I was looking. So when I moved this from 2025 to 2026, you'll see what happened in my funding changes down here is it said for SDF, we decreased the funds in fiscal year 25 down to 0. Because really what we did, right, is we increased those funds in 2026 to 1.853 million. So we added
Got it. Okay.
500,000